Past President Fajemirokun for your commitment, devotion, and loyalty to the institution. 6. PC1 building and separation of powers. When the history of Surveyor's house or towers, you call it towers, Surveyor's towers, yes, you were the one that christened the building. The past president, Bodiadiaga, was the one that christened the building Surveyor's Towers. When the history of Surveyor's House PC1 is written, the name of past president Dr. Olushola Atilola will be written in gold, alongside such names as Adekunle Kukoyi, J.O. Daramola, Olukunle Akeola, Kabiesi, Oba J.O. Oshosame, D.O. Daudu, Chief R. Oluwole Koka, Benga Dekoya, Fatayi Egberungbe, Pa Eme Seweje, and Olatunde Kasim. I want to take some time, my past presidents, to just mention a few things that these people did to make that building become ours. I said Dr. Olushola Atilola's name will be written in gold. This is because after we had negotiated with 5 prospective contractors, we were told we got the invitation of HFP. And HFP at that time had only 2 slots by the policy of the company. One was for the nurses. If you go there, go to PC1, I don't know what they call that area now, business center, you will see those buildings there. If you go there, one for the nurses and the other one for the lawyers. But past President Atilola was a neighbor of Chief Atonda, who was the counsel for HFP. And it was through him that one slot that was meant for the lawyers was given to us. That was how we were able to put that building up. Past President Atilola, please rise up and take a bow. Thank you very much. Adekunle Kukoyi and Daramola. Adekunle Kukoyi, when he was secretary, he applied for the land for the secretariat of the institution, and he was given. I think the land was given somewhere in Ilupeju, but he rejected it. He wanted it in the mainland. And when J.O. Daramola became his secretary, he reapplied. And for some time, the thing died, and nothing was heard of it for some time, until we got into the leadership position, and we found I then was the Secretary General. Going through the records, I found the papers and then discovered the land had been taken away for non-payment of the prescribed fee, which was something like 75,000 naira. 75,000 naira at that time is like 75 million naira of today. So I went to Chief Koka, who was the president, that the land had been taken, what should we do? We didn't have any money to pay. He said to me, I should go and meet the Surveyor General of Lagos State. At that time, Pa Olukunle Akeola was the Surveyor General of Lagos State. And I ran to him. I remember going to see him in his house, not his office. I got to his house, and I told him the president has directed me to see you, that our land has been taken back by government, that you should do something about it. I don't know what the man did, but the following week, the land was restored to us. I mentioned here Kábíyèsí Ọba J.O. Oshosami and Ọ̀gá D.O. Daudu, not Dapo. Ọ̀gá Daudu was the publicity secretary at the time, and he engaged an architect to put up a proposal for council to consider. That proposal was a replica of 8 Montgomery Road, and it got to council. As a matter of fact, council approved it. And at the following meeting of council, Kábíyèsí Ọba Oshosami, was there, and he said, we don't want that, because since the land is in Lagos, we must put up such building as high as government will approve. And that was how you have, as a matter of fact, we started with 4 stories. I think now it's 5-story building in Lagos. And 7. I think it started at 5, and later on government increased the number of story building. So that was how we now have that building there. In addition to what Kábíyèsí Ọba Oshosami did, he was a builder. Apart from being a surveyor, he was a reputable surveyor. In fact, he surveyed and owned a number of land in Oshosami Estate, Ibadan. So he gave us 2 or 3 contractors to negotiate with. Unfortunately, none of that materialized. Chief R. Oluwole Koka was the president. He was the chairman of the building committee. And because of his wealth of experience, we were able to talk with some measure of confidence with the various contractors. As a matter of fact, what we did, we wrote to the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, and we told them that we had this land that we had to build. Give us a checklist of what we need to discuss, to negotiate with the contractors, so that we will get some kind of reasonable deal from them. And they obliged. The president at that time set up a committee. I still remember 1 or 2 people. I think Daudu was the president at the time, and a few people served on that committee, and they sent us a checklist which assisted us in negotiating with the contractors. I also mentioned here Gbenga Adekoya. Gbenga Adekoya lived in Ikoyi, so he was mandated to monitor the progress of the construction. And at every council meeting, he would go there, take photographs, and bring it to council. So council was informed and was being carried along when that building was being constructed. Fatayi Egberongbe was a member of that committee, but the one that surprised me most was Pa M.A. Seweje, who at that time was in his 80s or late 70s, and he attended every meeting of the building committee. The last name I mentioned here was Olatunde Kasim. The only reason you have that building there is because of the decision that Olatunde Kasim took when he became president. Prior to that time, after he served as Secretary General, he stepped back from the activities of the institution. He wrote an official letter that he would like to face his private practice. But he never fully divested himself because the blood of the institution is flowing in his veins. So when he came back and was voted as president, like other people, I can stop now if you want. It doesn't bother me. So when he became president, he had no knowledge of what had transpired. And according to the Nigerian factor that my past president, Fajemirokun, mentioned, another president there could just have dissolved the committee and start afresh. If that had been done, that building would never, ever have been put up. And then when he was elected in Akure, he just said that all those of you that had been working on this committee for the last 4 or 5 years, just continue, but I want to be briefed every week. And that was how we were able to put that building up. I have mentioned that so that many of us in leadership position will learn that sometimes it doesn't pay to just come up somewhere and start wielding your powers without in-depth knowledge of what has transpired. The journey of PC1 started before the presidency of Adekunle Kukoyi. It was resuscitated during the Koka regime, and he, Chief Koka, was the chairman of the building committee, which he handed over to me in 1983, until the building was handed to the institution. Mr. President, we have made several mistakes with respect to PC1, which, in my opinion, were caused by council doing the job of the trustees. I beg you, Mr. President, let the Board of Trustees do its job. Today, Mr. President, I would like to recognize the effort of the administration in getting the property rented and soon to be revenue generating. This was the vision of those that worked assiduously to ensure the building of that edifice that today is the pride of the institution. How can I forget the commitment of past President Bode Adeaga and his administration? But the saying still goes, if at first you do not succeed, try again. Olumide Memorial Lecture, you may recall, sirs, that the last public appearance of Pa Olumide was at the second annual general meeting at Ibadan, where he was made the life president of the institution. When he passed in 1970, the institution decided to establish an annual lecture in his memory to immortalize his name. That decision could not be implemented for lack of fund. There was still lack of fund in 1982 when the first lecture series was inaugurated. As a result of the lecture series, architect Craig established a trust fund for the institution in honor of his father, who, not being one of the 5 founding fathers mentioned above, was a founder member of the institution. Mr. President, I urge you to check the records and find out what has happened to the fund with a view to resuscitating same. Similarly, the family of E.A. Ayede, one of the founding fathers, registered their intention to establish a similar fund for the institution in memory of their father. Mr. President, sir, I urge you to take the pains to invite the representatives of the members of the families of these 5 founding fathers to Olumide Memorial Lecture, especially that of this year, 2024, marking 90 years of the establishment of the institution. Time does not permit me to talk about Swan, but I must pay glowing tribute to Auntie Mama Adejoke Kukoyi, who founded the Surveyor's Wives Association of Nigeria. At the age of 91 years, she attended this year's Adekunle Kukoyi Memorial Lecture. Also, I must pay glowing tribute to the memory of Mama Ojekere, who spearheaded the establishment of Bender State Branch of the Swan here in May her soul rest in peace. Finally, Mr. President, many of those surveyors mentioned above have gone to receive their rewards. If anyone here thinks he has done something for the institution, please note that others have done much more. Ask not what the institution can do for you, but what you can do for the institution. J.F. Kennedy. With the permission of Mr. President, may I request all of us to stand up to observe 1 minute silence in honor of our heroes past. Past President Ahibe will be our timekeeper, 1 minute. And past President Fajemirokun will pray for the departed souls and offer a prayer of thanksgiving to God for preserving the institution for these 90 years and beyond. Past President Ahibe, are you? Shall we go? Please take off your cap. Raise up your hand. When the 1 minute is over, let us know.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercies over us at all times and your enablement, which gives us the pep to do things. In particular, we thank you for our past leaders, many of whom have passed away, for their sacrifices and for what they did to sustain this institution. We thank you for those who are currently serving, and we thank you for those who are going to serve in future, because we know that you are the one that will choose them to serve us. Heavenly Father, we pray for the souls of the faithful departed. We ask that, Lord, their labors shall not be in vain. And we pray for those who are present here, that you continue to extend your love, your mercy, and your protection over them and their families. Thank you, Almighty Father, for our prayer in Jesus' mighty name.
Thank you all, and God bless you. Please be seated.
Wow. I think we can still do better than that. So many of us got stuck to our seat. We do not want to stand up at all, because that was a very rich session. Please put your hands together again for our past president. I've never had history so touching. From Pa Ojekere, talking from the perspective of being a surveyor at the time when the hope for choosing that profession is not as bright as we see it today. But we saw a man enter a profession knowing fully well that, yes, the future is bright. We heard from Emeritus Professor Fajemirokun the history as it connects to how we do things in terms of our ethics, laws, and things we have done to shape the profession and the institution correctly. And we also heard from Pa Boswaide, history of surveying as it relates to sacrifices that had been made. If you combine these three together, we all know that no institution, no body, nothing is built without you having those three. Please put your hands together for them once again. I was touched because at the time I had to go and attend to something outside, and somebody was also going out. He said, Lambo, are you streaming this thing live? I want to go out to ease myself, but I don't want to miss it. We planned to stream. We are streaming, but the structure is not allowing for continuous streaming. But like every other day event, I am also promising you on the YouTube channel of NIS, this session will be uploaded by the grace of God this evening. And the paper that was presented is already being uploaded on the website. Everybody can download and have it viewed. Thank you very much. What we planned as panel anchor was for us to sit and ask questions. But our fathers read our minds because they are our fathers. They know what we would have done. They have done justice to that. But I know that there are some of us that want to ask questions. The time is far spent. We have just 20 minutes. A lot of people are going out to eat, but a lot don't want to go out. A lot more don't want to go out. So we'll allow for 10 persons to ask questions in how many seconds? One question is, please, if you know your question is the photocopy of the other person's question, just leave it that way. And please, no subsection to a question. Kemi, please, would you take count for me? We'll start from the front here, sir. If there is question from our past president, from the president, everybody has got enriched. 1, 2, 3. Whatever number you had before, add 1 to it. A past president is number 1. So if you are number 1, when I count you are 2 now. You are 2, you are 3 now, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 7, 8. Please take this light away from my face. 9. 9, sir. 10 there. His constituents are protesting for him. Please know your number, and I beg of you, sirs, let it be 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you, the MC. Mine is just to appreciate the NIS for bringing this type of thing. Not always tantita postita. This is history. And one Yoruba adage says, "Agba ò ní tán lórílẹ̀." Elders will never vanish on the land. We can see 91, 85, 80, and we are refreshing our memory. Yoruba adage says, "Tọ́mọdé ò bá bátàn, á bá rọ̀bá." That is, if a child doesn't meet history, he will meet verbal history. And really, in fact, some, as much as have been in the subject, some that I had not had, I've had it. I say thank you. May you live long. May you live long. May you live long. And all of us too will live long. We appreciate you. Thank you for the president and the council that has established this kind of thing. It's very, very enriching. And I appreciate the council and the ESCO. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Two is there.
I remember reading in Julius Caesar
Number 3.
that if music is the food of love, play on. The point I said, if music is the food of love, play on. We are going to play this in again. My first suggestion is that we do a book entitled Reminiscence, Surveying Reminiscences, so that more people can write and we have this in print. I did it for my secondary school and it made quite interesting reading. The second point is I'm going to the Professor Emeritus. I think the Agwebi is the same Agwebi that we have, Agwebi Build Engineering. Agwebi, when Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe started the University of Nigeria, he named the School of Law after the first lawyer who was a Yoruba. Then Agwebi, the School of Engineering was Agwebi School of Engineering. It is necessary for you people to know that in those days, Macaulay had a degree in civil engineering. Agwebi was the first civil engineer, and all that, and all that. So I'm happy. I wanted to just to be sure. Incidentally, Professor Emeritus is a graduate of the School of Engineering of Nsukka, the first person to make a first-class honors degree in the University of Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Number 3.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us play this. If music is the food of love, play on.
Play on.
Thank you.
Number 3.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Kolagbayo Kediji. Sir, you mentioned 6 objectives of this NIS. And,
Sorry, sir. Make yourself audible.
I said, okay. I said, you mentioned 6 objectives of this NIS, and you said that only one has been achieved. My question is this, sir. As elderly people, what suggestions or ways do you think we can go in order to get the remaining 5 achieved? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will take the questions and the concerned respondent will do justice after that.
Thank you. My name is Surv Jain, the BP Academic and Professional Issues. We had history. We sacrifice a lot. Sir, Prof. Fajemirokun. Now we want to the issue of surveying to move to the next level.
Sorry, sir. Sir, speak louder, sir.
Sir, I said we had history, sacrifices, and a lot of. Now we want to surveying to move to the next level. And you have made mention in your lecture that now the National Assembly is requesting our survey laws to be reviewed. And then we need to have a stakeholders conference that we can have a unique submission to the National Assembly so that the history cannot repeat itself where the National Assembly requests us to submit.
Please, if you are not
a
part of this,
review of this
leave the
law,
hall for us.
and where we are at the public hearing of such review of that law, we are disintegrated. Sir, what is the way forward now to have the stakeholders conference? Thank you.
Number 5, please. Number 5. Sorry, come here. Hello.
President, sir, we sincerely want to appreciate our fathers. We have them at 90. It is our prayer that we will have you at 100. 1, what honor, what dignity, and what recognition have we placed on our worthy past leaders that you have all mentioned? At 90, we want a legacy, not their pictures that we have on our walls, but what honor, what dignity, and what recognition has our institution placed on their names. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 6. 6. Number 6. Number 7, please.
Thank you, moderator. My name is Surv Durojaye Adebanjo from Rivers State. I want to confess that for the few hours of this presentation, I find it difficult to know the state of my feeling. To have people on this carnival at this age, with this memory, it's very amazing. Very, very amazing. At this age, with that memory, at lecture in the university, it's quite amazing. And I'm thinking what we can do to make, for me personally, to make this day a remarkable. I don't know how it comes to my mind. And I'm going to say it in a musical way. Surveying yìí ti gbogbo wa ni, kó má gbọ́dọ̀ collapse. Surveying yìí ti gbogbo wa ni, kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sí profession tí a lè lọ. Àjò lè dàbí ilé. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ ká fi ìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan. Pé kémi gbé.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You get the translation later. There's no time for that. I will do justice to that later. Number 7, please.
Let me join my colleagues to give my compliments and due regard to our father in the profession. I am Akintola by name, from Oyo State. I have only one question, sir. I was part of SOCON for about 17 years. And I begin to wonder what are the issues between SOCON and NIS. In the first instance, every 58 members of SOCON, they are all members of the NIS. The president of SOCON is always a practicing surveyor. All the surveyors general that are members of SOCON, they belong to one state branch or the other of the NIS. And I know where there is law, we need minimal law or regulation. Professor, can we find a way where we can embrace love and affection to move the profession forward? Thank you, sir.
That's more of a thought-provoking question. Let's search our conscience. Number 8, please.
Thank you, moderator. I want to join the rest to thank our fathers who has offered us the opportunity to go back in history on our profession. I am Olukayode Kundayo. When our father was, enumerating the challenges in the past, and I could immediately relate because most of those challenges listed are still there today. In some states, in fact, each item he mentioned, I will look at my neighbor and say, can you hear that? Exactly what we are talking about. And the question is, why are these challenges still there today? And what can we do to get out of this hole? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Number 10. Number 9, sorry, number 9. Number 9.
Members of the high table, senior colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Musa is my name. To cut the matter short, all those that talked, I've not heard anybody say what is the authority for, or what do we do to make sure that what our past president presented becomes a law. So what I hear is someone even asks, how can you solve the problem of NIS? My suggestion here is one of the presidents, yes, I think the first president, Truth and Reconciliation Commission to establish wrongs done, admission of guilt leading to full reconciliation should be given a thought. I hereby move a motion for that to be adopted. The AGM should give the authority for this to be adopted. Now, master-servant relation between SOCON and NIS. I'm impressed. NIS had a problem. Surveyor General of Lagos State solved it. So let us just have it in mind that those in government always are upper hand than those outside. Me today, as a retired general, if I have a problem, if I call the chief of army staff or any serving officer there, my problem will be solved. So you can see the distance. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, those taking record of this event will come and take that which you move and will take note of it very well, sir. Yes, sir. Number 10.
Thank you, sir. I'm Surveyor J. Faletu, the Surveyor General of Ekiti State. I want to appreciate all our past leaders from the beginning to the end. All of them, they have performed wonderfully well. Because if not for that, the association, what we are doing today will not be possible. So I have to thank each and every one of them for the role they have played in the time past. My own is just to make few remarks. We should not be involving in internal wrangling within the profession. There are other things, many things, that we should be tackling outside. But if we continue to involve in internal wranglings, we will not move forward. So we should try as much as possible to borrow leaves from those people that has held the profession in the past. Then the issue of sacrifice, I want to thank our present president. You see, he has been mentioning sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. And you see those people in the past, if they have not sacrificed for the profession, what we are witnessing today, we will not witness it. So I want to thank our president, who is there, he is currently there, for what he has been doing in this regard. There are issues of engineering and surveying. Daddy has talked about mapping policy. Let us try as much as possible to fight this cause. The last meeting we went to in Makodi, we raised this issue. Please, by now, we ought to have at least moved forward in that regard. Let us try that. Let us encourage the younger ones too. Baba Fajemirokun was my lecturer in the University of Lagos. In fact, I was moved by a lot of things. I learned a lot of things from him. So let us try as much as possible to encourage those people coming behind. Daddy Bosun made mention of inclusion of a lot of all these sisters courses. Let us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We don't have the old days, sir. I'm very sorry. I know you've got a lot to say. So much so every other person here. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir. When past President Bosun was talking, I think there was a time the president pleaded for silence. Is that still possible again? Can we have that silence? Yes, 0 decibel. Thank you very much. I would like the past president to react to the questions raised. Thank you very much. Should I start from you, sir? Okay, I was advised to start from where I like, so I'd like to start from here, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The question directed to me is, listening to the 6th agenda of the institution since its inception, why was it that only one out of those 6 was achieved? What happened to the other 5? Why was the other 5, sorry? No, it's okay. Why were the other 5 not addressed or achieved? 1, through all past presidents addressed each of those 5. In other words, the institution has been addressing those 5 from president to president. Take, for example, the issue of removing engineering projects from turnkey programs. Everybody emphasizes that. And it's a way of creating jobs for surveyors. But why was it not achieved? The answer was given, the full answer to why we have not achieved that was provided by Professor Fajemirokun. Sir, I hope you are listening. I was saying that the answer to the question why the other 5 items of the agenda were not achieved was they were all answered in your paper. It's due to the non-cooperation between our members in government and the institution. I addressed the Lagos State branch of the institution a couple of months ago, when I was young, or when we were young, there was always a conflict, and past President Fajemirokun mentioned it in his paper. There was always a conflict between Chief Coker and past President Kukoyi. And we thought it was a personality issue. But in my old age, I have come to realize that it's an institutional issue. It didn't matter who occupies the post of the Director of Federal Service or SDOF, or who occupies the post of the President of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, there will always be conflict between the two of them on the practice of the profession of surveying. And until we see that and work together, we will not go any further. Let me just give one simple example. We were under the British rule. When the British left, we inherited all the system. For example, in England, the NISV, Nigerian of Estate Surveyors, Nigerian of Quantity Surveying, everybody is under the umbrella of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. And after independence, that was what our leaders wanted, especially the Institute of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, and the Land Surveyors. And I understood, or I understand, that they had one file in the Ministry of Works, including that of the NIQS. But because our people, the people in federal service, were not cooperating with the Nigerian Institution of Service, the other people withdrew their file. They took their own papers from the bound volume of the file. Oga Dosumu is still alive. Those of you who know Dosumu, the former land officer in the Federal Ministry of Works, they took their own papers from that file and called their counterpart in the ministry that to sit down, and they told him, this is what we want. Go to government and get it for us. And the man went through it. He said, change this one, so that when I get to my boss, I can change it back to what you want. And they got their own within 3 years. Ours took 16 years to get, and we did not even get what we wanted. We got what our colleagues in government imposed upon us. So until we learn to, our members in government learn to cooperate with those of us on the outside, we are not going to move forward. Thank you, and God bless you.
Another round of applause for our past president. So we'll take the response from Surveyor Fajemirokun, sir.
Thank you very much. I think there are a few comments that I have to make. But before I start, let me say that there are a number of documents that are necessary for each and every one of us to have. And they were mentioned by past President Boswani. The history of surveying in Nigeria, that is one. And then the history of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, 1934 to 2020. Both of them are publications of the NIS, and they are available. Now, I know that the second one, the history of NIS, we printed about 1,000 copies, and I'm sure there are still many copies available. And we say that we are 5,000, 6,000 now. So those copies should have been exhausted and then we should be asking for reprints. So let's try and acquire knowledge, because knowledge is power. Also, apart from those two publications, I derived my talk from a paper that I gave at the NIS Lagos branch AGM in the year 2020, December 2020. And so I have asked that both the slide and that paper should be placed on the NIS data so that it can be accessible to each and every one of us. Now to the contributions or the questions. The survey, as far as survey laws are concerned, I mentioned that NIS has been informed officially now to bring out suggestions for amendments, and NIS EXCO has turned it over to us to make suggestions, and I have told the NIS through the board, through the body of past presidents, that within the records of the NIS at the Secretariat, the position of NIS is there. They only need to update it. Many years ago, the last time that we tried, we actually did all the work that are needed, although a few issues might have arisen that they need to attend to. So that is how to go about it, and lobbying the members, I think we can get a quick result. Honoring I think you have talked about that, the 5 founding members, and apart from C.T. Olumide, I think the institution can look at the possibility of doing something for them. This is part of the suggestions that we made. The issues between NIS and SOCON is a recurring decimal, and I think it is part of why are the challenges still on. It is due to the fact, number one, that we think we are more important than the NIS. Number one, that is, the good of ourselves is paramount in our minds. If we let go that notion and we work for the good of all, and there is love, and there is respect, and there is humility, if we serve with humility, love, and respect, I think we'll be able to achieve a lot. I think those are the other comments that I like to make. Thank you very much.
Sir, I don't know if you'd like to just give a closing shot. Thank you very much, sir. While I was taking my... Put your hands together for yourself. While I was taking my count the other time, one past president raised up his hand, but I thought he was doing something else. So he told me I missed him. So please, I seek the indulgence of the Mr. President to hand the mic to past President Oluwamotemi for his remarks. Take the man with the mic.
Thank you so much. I thought he missed me, but I didn't want him to miss me. I think one important point we need to consider from all what we have heard today from the past elders, past presidents, and I think we need to readjust at the national level and at the state level, some states. How do we honor our past leaders? Do we have to wait until they die before we honor them, or while they are still alive? We have been honoring some from some leaders for 40 years. Do we continue? I think we need to. Maybe the honors committee needs to look into how do we honor our, like Surveyor Kukoyi. We have a lecture series for him in Lagos, but the national doesn't have. And this man does not serve Lagos, he served the national. So these are the things we need to look for when they are still alive. It's very, very important. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The labor of our heroes past shall not be in vain. I hand over to my co-MC.
I want us to please give a standing ovation to all our 3 past presidents that are seated here. Please indulge me. Thank you, sirs. We appreciate you. Thank you, sirs. God bless you, sirs. Ekpe funwa, sir. I wish I knew how to say that in Edo language. It will... Okay, sir. Ekpe funwa, sir, please. How do we say that in Edo language? Okay, we'll stick with Ekpe funwa, sir. May the Lord sustain you all for us. We also have a book on the history of surveying in
We can return to us.
Yes, we can please be seated. Thank you. We also have a book on the history of surveying in northern Nigeria. The title is The Geographic Laborers of Arewa. What we have here is that Yoruba language is worrying me. The former SG of Jigawa, we were told, has former SG of Jigawa State. Jigawa. Lambo, you are not helping me.
You
I
are
think
important.
this is just for us to, we can actually take a look at all these books so that we can learn more about the history of our profession. Having said that, we have a few announcements before we close. And before I take the announcements, I would like to inform us that there is a second session that is coming up after we go for our lunch break. I want to please appeal to everybody to stay with us. Today is a day of learning. By 3 p.m., the second session will start. 3 dots, it will start. So I'll just take the announcements. There is a meeting of members of Kashi Land by 3 p.m. in the mini hall. That is the hall where the fellows have their lunch. All members of Kashi Land are supposed to meet with Surveyor Aigbe Irene. There is also a meeting of the alumni of UNN. There is also a meeting of YSN after this session. Okay, the last announcement is that there will be an inauguration of all new members All newly elevated members will be inaugurated immediately after the close of this session. There is also a meeting of the Committee on Public Relations by 7 p.m. tonight. And on that note,
all members, all new members and associates that have not been elevated will be inaugurated immediately after this session. So if you fall into that category, your attention is needed here, please. On that note, we declare the plenary session suspended till we reconvene again. Thank you and God bless you. Ushers, please come and assist our past president.